Forget the crush of shopping and going to the mall. Let's read some books. Today, I have a list curated just for you of holiday reads that I just love, and I think they're great. And I've formatted it this time to kind of be in categories based on your mood. And so I've tried to get a couple different kind of holiday moods depending on how people vibe during the holiday season. So whether you're looking for a book to make you laugh, something to make you feel all nice and warm and cozy, or even to scare you and give you that tingle down your spine, I'm hoping you might find one or two good holiday reads on this list for you. And if you have any favorite holiday reads, make sure to put them down in the comments below. I know I personally love getting more book recommendations, and it seems like everyone else does as well, so make sure to share those. Let's kick things off with a category when you just want to experience a magical winter Christmas. Those books and stories that maybe lean into a little bit more of a fantasy aesthetic or fantasy storytelling. First up is a book that manages to poke fun at Christmas while also still holding it in high regard. It is hilarious, it is interesting, and it's by Terry Pratchett, called Hogfather. On the night of Hog's Watch, the Hogfather, Discworld's version of Santa, he goes missing. And it's up to Death himself, yes, the Grim Reaper with the scythe and everything, to step up and deliver the presents to keep children believing. This book is like a Christmas cracker just stuffed with goodness and satire, but also joy and heart and warmth. It gets close to being cynical, but it never really gets there, which I really appreciate. It's Terry Pratchett, so of course it's incredibly funny, a little bit deeply philosophical at moments, which I wouldn't have expected, and it constantly asks, what is the true spirit of Christmas even about? If you want a good fantasy read during this holiday season that's both satirical, but also has a lot of heart, definitely check out Hogfather. My next book for this mood is a little bit different. It's called The Snow Child, and it's written by Eowyn Ivey. This book has a lot of emotion at its core, but there's also just a lot of wonder and magic. It was nominated for a Pulitzer Prize, so you know that the writing is certainly going to be top-notch. It's set in the Alaskan wilderness in the 1920s and follows Jack and Mabel, a childless couple struggling on their homestead. And in a rare moment of joy, they build a child out of snow. The next day, the snow child is gone, but they start seeing a real young girl running through the woods. The story blurs the lines between reality and magic, and there's a lot of hope and heart. And even when many of us maybe have some interesting family dynamics during the holidays, this is still a story about what it means to find family and to find that place that you just call home. It's one of those books that you could certainly get lost in. It's going to make you feel some stuff. It's also going to make you a little bit cozy, but overall, it's just, I don't know, it's just a wonderful, heartwarming book that has just the right amount of fantasy elements to keep it really engaging. And then finally in this section, we have The Girl Who Saved Christmas by Matt Haig. The Girl Who Saved Christmas follows Amelia, brave and imaginative girl whose belief in magic begins to fade just as Father Christmas faces his own crisis. Elves are in chaos, reindeer are falling from the sky, and trolls are threatening to ruin everything. Christmas itself is in danger. This book is just so Christmassy. It's set in the Victoria era. There's a chimney sweep, and chimney sweeps are cool. Just ask Bert. And if you don't get that, we need to have a conversation. This is actually the only Matt Haig book I've ever read, which I know is sacrilege for some people out there who just absolutely love Matt Haig. But as a girl dad, I found this book just to be full of adventure and humor and hope and wonder and all the things that I like to think about and talk about during the holiday season. It's just a great escape, but the world in which the story takes place feels alive and rich, and all of the characters feel deeply relatable, which for a middle grade kind of older kids book that's meant to be read as a family or as an older kid, it's just a wonderful book to get lost in during the holiday season. Now, before we get to some of the darker options, which I have several, I need to give a few honorable mentions because I didn't want this list to be too long. So first up, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I love it. I'll always love it. It feels Christmassy, but it's not really Christmassy, but it's a great book. Also, The Fat Man, a tale of North Pole noir, and it sounds exactly like what it is. There is an overburdened elf who's accused of murder, and the story just goes from there. So if you like satire, if you like noir type stories, and you like Christmas, it's a good one to check out. Then there's Green Glass House, which is another middle grade book. And you might be saying, why do you keep putting middle grade books on here? I say it all the time. I think adults need to read children's literature every now and again to just remind them of good things in life. So that's why I'm doing it. But Green Glass House follows Milo, a 12-year-old who lives and helps run an inn, and it's normally quiet, and he's expecting it to be quiet for the holiday. But soon the whole place is overrun by a lot of guests with a lot of secrets, and the whole story just kind of follows him unraveling those secrets. It's a great time. It's a super fun read. And then finally, Dickens' A Christmas Carol. We all know the story. There's been so many iterations over the years, but I have found there's quite a few people that have never actually read the book. And so if you haven't read the book, I would definitely encourage you to do so because it's quite good. All right, enough with the holiday cheer and the saccharine sweet toothache type stories. Let's get dark. Let's get creepy. Let's get a little horrific. Well, not all of them are horrific, but at least one of them is. There is no way I could have done this list without including Krampus the Yule Lord by Bram. This is not your cozy Christmas tale. This book takes your warm holiday feelings, dunks them in cold ice water, and then rolls them through broken glass. So if that's your vibe, you'll probably like this book. Based on dark alpine folklore, the story imagines a world where Krampus, the counterpart to St. Nicholas, breaks free after being imprisoned by Santa for 500 years. He's determined to reclaim his throne as the one true Lord of Yule, and Santa Claus is standing in his way. This book is this is bizarre. It's great. It's also filled with some really cool gothic illustrations that are done by the author. The story has got some like grit and heft to it and some dark fantasy vibes. It's the perfect story for people who want something a little bit different, a little bit darker, something that feels a little bit older and wants to live in the wilder traditions of the winter solstice. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you like Agatha Christie and do you like Clue? Then the Christmas Murder Game might just be for you. Do you see what I did there? I made like a rhyme. Yeah, we're there. Okay, cool. Lily Armitage returns to her family's isolated home, in-game house, for the first time since her mother died there 21 years ago. And her late aunt has arranged one final Christmas game, 12 riddles with the winner getting the deed to the house. But the letter also promises the clues will reveal a murderer. Dun dun dun. Right on cue, a blizzard traps everyone inside the house, and the game quickly turns deadly. It really is like if the board game and the movie Clue decided to get under a Snuggie with Agatha Christie's and then there were none, which I love because I love Clue, and Agatha Christie is one of my favorite authors of all time. It's incredibly atmospheric, it's full of suspense, it's perfect for a dark and stormy winter holiday evening when you just want to light some candles, put on a lamp, get some tea or whiskey, depending on who you are, and just sit back and read a good mystery that has a lot of propulsion in it. And finally, in our Dark Christmas section, I would be remiss if I didn't include Joe Hill's Nosferatu. I just mentioned Nosferatu in another video I did about audiobooks because I do prefer the audiobook version more than the physical version. But either way, it's a rich, layered, psycho killer Christmas story, fun for the whole family. Not the whole family. Do not let your children read this story. If you're looking for a psycho killer story that's decorated in Christmas baubles, this is the perfect story for you. It will engage you. It will make you feel uneasy. It will make you want to leave the Christmas lights on as you follow the tale of Charles Minx and his Silver Wraith. Also, real quick, if you do like Christmas, but you also like horror stories, and maybe you like them in equal measure, which if that's the case, no judgment. But I would say make sure to check out the short story collection, Christmas and Other Horrors. It's pretty good. There's a lot of really interesting kind of spooky tales around Christmas, the holidays, and winter solstice. Now, if murder and mayhem and serial killers aren't your thing during the holidays, okay, and you're looking for something a little bit more cozy and comforting, then these next few books are for you. And let me start with one of my absolute favorites that I'm so grateful that my wife gifted me this book a few years back because I just love it so much. And that's Letters from Father Christmas by J.R.R. Tolkien. Every year, Tolkien's children will receive a letter from the North Pole, and inside were letters and beautiful drawings from Father Christmas himself detailing his life and misadventures with his clumsy assistant, the North Polar Bear, who causes a level of chaos that honestly feels really relatable during the holidays. I think I have yet to experience a holiday in my entire life where chaos didn't ensue at some point. The book collects all of those letters into one volume, and these beautiful letters and pictures and stories that Tolkien wrote for his children are just so charming and endearing. It really is a perfect gift, but it's just for kids of all ages, adults, for families to read. It really is heartwarming and cozy, and you just get to see the imagination of Tolkien in a whole different way. And it kind of just makes you feel like a kid again. Then we have the very short, but I think pretty powerful novel, Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan. This story is set in a small Irish town in 1985. It follows Bill Furlong, a coal merchant, during the busy weeks before Christmas. He's a good man, but when he makes a shocking discovery at the local convent, he's faced with a really difficult choice: turn a blind eye or risk his own family's security to do what's right. I think this story it's a quiet story. There's a lot in it for such a small book, and I'm always drawn to books that have like a moral center, that have someone that is acting honorably, that when they see something that they know isn't right, they're willing to say something, to do something about it, to just make things better, not for themselves necessarily, but for the people around them. And that's what this story is. I will say, and I've said this before, I feel like the story is a little too short. I almost wish there was another 20 or 30 pages just to kind of maybe expand it a little bit. But this is a book that it is very Christmassy. It's not the most like cheerful story, but it is one that I think helps focus the mind on just thinking past ourselves and thinking about the good for the people around us, which I never think is a bad thing. And then finally in this section, we have The Greatest Gift, A Christmas Tale. And this short story was actually the inspiration for the film It's a Wonderful Life. And I don't know many people that actually know that It's a Wonderful Life is based off of a short story or a book. It tells the story of George Pratt, a man standing on a bridge on Christmas Eve, despairing over his life. He wishes he had never been born, only to have the wish granted by a mysterious stranger. And as George moves through town, he realizes just how profoundly his absence has changed the lives of others. This story really becomes just a moving reflection on the importance of life itself. A lot of people I know, including myself, there have been times when I'm like, maybe life would just be better for everyone else if I wasn't here. And this story really kind of just in a really beautiful way unfolds the layers of the things that we sometimes believe and makes us face the reality that not only is every life important, but that every life has value and it brings meaning to the people around them. It's a reminder that hope is always able to break through even the darkest moments of life, and a reminder that you matter and you do matter. And I think that's a wonderful thing to read and to be reminded of. It's a heartwarming read that really grounds the spirit of Christmas in gratitude, purpose, and the beauty of just simply being alive. All right, we've come to our last section, and I call this section A World of Christmas Stories because I didn't know what else to call it. First up is a great nonfiction read for anyone who likes to travel and who is a foodie. This has become a book that I read almost every year, and I don't know why, but I just love it. It's called A Movable Feast, A Paris Christmas. The book follows one particular Christmas that the author, John Baxter, experienced. He's Australian, but living in Paris, and decides to host a traditional Christmas dinner for his in-laws. What follows is a funny and hunger-inducing journey through Parisian markets and culinary traditions as he tries to track down all the right ingredients. It's a great book about Paris. It's a wonderful book about food and really the universal chaos of family holidays. I don't know a single person that hasn't experienced that kind of vibe at the holidays. And especially like when you're trying to get to know your in-laws, or maybe it's like a boyfriend or girlfriend's parents or families, it's so awkward and uncomfortable where you're like, how do I do this? How do I put my best foot forward? This is kind of what this book encompasses, just with a lot of mouth-watering descriptions of food, a lot of beautiful descriptions of Paris and France, and just kind of the traditions that live in that area of the world at Christmas time. I just love it. So if you are a foodie, if you are obsessed with Paris or France, or you just like travel, or you just want to hear and read something that is relatable, this is a great book that I think you will enjoy. I hope you will enjoy. And if you don't enjoy it, let me know, because I want to have that conversation with you in a nice, kind way, because it's the holidays. No Grinches here. And the last book I have is basically a literary advent calendar. It's the Penguin Book of Christmas Stories. This collection of stories brings together tales across eras, across countries. There's lots of short story Christmas books, and all of them I think have probably some value in different things. But this one in particular, it just seems to have some of the best stories to match almost any mood. So if you're wanting something spooky, if you're wanting something cozy, if you're wanting something thrilling, there's even a story in there that I'm still very confused by, and I don't entirely know why it's in there, but maybe it'll be for you. You have authors like Hans Christian Andersen, Shirley Jackson, Chekhov, Angela Carter. If I remember correctly, Truman Capote might be in there as well. And behind each page is a different world. And each of these stories is just really easy to get lost in. So if you're not sure what to read this holiday season, or maybe you're just wanting to dip your toes into holiday literature in some way, I think this would be a perfect book, because you could just read one story a night or one story every other night to just allow yourself to still keep your reading going, but kind of sit and enjoy the holiday season through these stories. All right, that's it. That's my holiday suggestions for reading this year. But please, again, let me know what kind of stories you like during the holiday season. If you have any favorite short story collections or favorite books, anything like that. And maybe you don't necessarily feel like you have the time to tangibly read and you're looking for some good audiobooks to listen to during the holiday season, then I would definitely say take a look at this video, because I have put together a collection of audiobooks that I think are just stellar any time of year. All right, as always, my name is Topher. Stay curious, read deeply, and I'll see you in the library. Oh, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all the other good sayings. Bye.